Bodden is the former Managing Director of Bodden Corporate Services and a Director of Bodden & Bodden Attorneys at Law.
Before we move on to the signing and chit-chatting and taking photos, because I know everybody wants to get a photo with you, I'm going to just take an opportunity to read 3 paragraphs from 3 different chapters in the book, The Things We Do for Love. Another situation that changed my course to college was that I'd been dating a nice young lady from Maryland, Georgetown, but for some time, I really had my eye on her cousin, Virginia Arch, who we have the honor of here with us today. I will hand it over to Mr. Bodden to say a few words about his book, Against All Odds.
Thank you very much, Maureen. The book tells of how life was in Cayman in the 1940s and 50s before we became modernised and overdeveloped. It tells of the early years of air travel after Owen Roberts Airport was built in 1953. It tells of when and why Cayman Airways was born and how it has survived. It tells of the growth and development of tourism, something about my political years, the contribution to the economy by seamen during the Southwell years, and a bit of humour here and there.
We would like to welcome you to come up and have your book signed.
A successful Caymanian businessman and politician during his 12 years tenure as a member of the Legislative Assembly, Mr. Bodden was responsible in introducing and guiding the Labour Law 1987 through the Legislative Assembly. He was also a member of the Cayman Islands government during the 1984 to 1992 period that witnessed many useful and successful amendments to the Companies Law of the Cayman Islands for the international business community. Among his many professional achievements, Mr. Bodden was Managing Director of Cayman Airways from 1968 to 1980. Mr. Bodden was awarded the Order of the British Empire Medal and is an appointed Notary Public and Justice of the Peace since 1989. He was appointed to the Commission effective 1st December 2015.
My family especially encouraged me. I never ever planned to write a book. I never thought that I would ever do it. But my wife and children and grandchildren, and Karen Hunter, and Harden and Butler, who was my principal secretary when I was in the Executive Council as a Minister for Tourism and Aviation. They all encouraged me and I decided I would give it a try. So it's basically about my life and about my experience, and it goes back and tells what life was like in the 40s and 50s. And I think it would be an encouragement to children who were unfortunate and they decided that they would make something of themselves by going into politics and making a contribution to the country.
How long did it take you?
4 months.
Did you follow a schedule?
No, I just did a bit each day on it. I typed it up myself on my computer.
Wow.
And did some each day as I felt. If I didn't feel well, some days I didn't bother with it, but usually I did it a bit at a time.
You have gained so many professional achievements starting 1968 against all odds. I wasn't even born then. You are a wealth of knowledge. What advice would you give young Caymanians that aspire to be writers poor in general?
I would tell them to do their research and get all the information they can together and keep a record of it over the years, because I never did that. I had to draw on my memory and limited access to records to write the book I did, and it would be much easier if you plan to do it in the future and keep proper records. It would make life easier.
If your book were made into a movie, which character would you think would play your role best?
Oh, I don't know too much about the movies. I've been out of touch with movies. Those that I would remember are probably dead, so I can't say.